hobbyists. When we were gifted the monster Beetle kindly from the RC Elf, a question arose on what to do with it. Yes, it could be just another monster Beetle, but we decided that why can't we be creative with this? As mentioned before, the godfather of television art was Tony Hart. This was my first real introduction to the world of art, and as a small child I would sit glued to the screen, intrigued to what he was doing. Obviously this crown was passed on to others over the years, like Neil Buchanan and that guy from Smart, but he was a tortured soul it turned out. Across the pond, another TV artist was plying his trades over the years. His programme was eventually shown in the UK, and I understand that there is a channel on Twitch dedicated to him. I am talking about Bob Ross. With all that in mind, let's go over to the Chief Engineer's panic room and see how the Monster Beetle build is coming along.
I've completed bags A and bags B. The main chassis is together, ESC is in place, radio gear, servo, front end, steering arms, put servo saver on, and put the gearbox together. The back end went together really well. Drive shafts went into place. So move on to bag C now, and we'll start on the suspension, CVA shocks, and then put the motor in. We've put on the front axles, front shocks, front wheels, the steering arms. We've got dust cover on. That's on top of the servo and the ESC and the wiring underneath. Underneath chassis we've got the skid guard, put the front bumper on, got the battery in place. It's come together really well. The back end, put the motor in place, the e-tronics 21 turn, gearboxes together, rear axles, rear shocks, radio gear, put on those nice aluminium wheel hubs, and then put the back wheels on. Then we got the back bumper. The wheels are lovely, metallic gold, and then put some nice red wheel nuts on. So next step with this is the shell. So we'll get that all painted up, put the stickers on, and then take it for the first run. Nice Italian red. And this car is dedicated to the great Bob Ross. Got some nice little trees. We're going to beat the devil out of it. What a great looking car. Went together really well. Have a look at the chassis. Really nice. Got the e-tronics 21 turn motor, the Google RC receiver, then we've got an e-tronics servo as well. With this, the stock shocks, okay for what they are. On the back, not too bad, but on the front, they didn't really perform very well, so I've upgraded the front shocks. Really nice, worked really well. So all we need to do is put Bob in the driving seat and we'll take it for the first run.
Whilst the chief engineer was doing the wrenching, I had the job of painting a driver figure. As this was for a Bob Ross inspired Beetle, it would help if the driver looked a little bit like Bob Ross. The figures that Tamiya supply are good, but there is a finite amount of character sets. As you can see, although the plastic colour can change, the figure is very much the same bloke, and incidentally looks naff all like Bob Ross, so creativity is needed. Before reaching for the modelling clay, I experimented with ideas. I liberated a few of those foam bits off cheap tinny PC headsets to see if I could butcher them into an afro. Try as I may, it just didn't look right, and I also had no idea how the paint would react to the foam. One thing I did notice, the Tamiya figure without the helmet. If you add the black foam, it's a damned close doppelganger for Gene Simmons of Kiss fame. I also tried carving some of the foam from when I added the foam inserts to the lunchbox tyres. Again, it looked dreadful, like some sort of comedy hat or something. So back to the initial plan of using modelling clay. I opted for Milliput. This is a 2-part epoxy, so it should stay solid. First though, I wanted to make the surface a bit more bondable by roughing it up, and also a good excuse to use my new Dremel. Now, I know RC So-and-so is known for its bucket science and a touch of a devil-may-care attitude, but I don't care even if you are Chuck Norris. When using a tool like this, wear safety goggles to protect your peepers. All we need to do is shave back the edges and rough it up so the afro can sit better. Milliput is brilliant stuff. It sets hard and does not shrink. It sets underwater and people use this to fix things like baths and sinks. It can be sanded and drilled, so this makes it ideal. All you need is equal parts of the 2 putties and mix them together so you'll have a consistent colour and then apply. To make it a little less tacky, you can also put a dab of water on your fingers or the tools as it will still set fine. I may do a video on Milliput in the future. It is made in mid-Wales, so if any Milliput executives are watching, yes, I would love to do a factory tour. Anywho, you may have noticed a silver ball. This is from the Kit Kat that I was eating while thinking of how to get the texture on the Milliput afro. It works really well. The hair and the beard were fine to model, and it's not that bad a job. Once hardened, it's fine to be primed. It's then time to make up a skin tone. Always self-mix, be creative with your colours. Then it's time to paint. The key things I needed here was a brown afro, a greying beard, and a pale blue shirt. The rest is just artistic licence. Let's face it, it will be in a monster Beetle whizzing around at 30 miles an hour. Down a mountain. The concept here is that Bob uses the Beetle to look for inspiration for his wet canvas paintings. Looking at all the happy little trees, what could be better than thundering around in the wilderness in a mighty monster Beetle, exploring hills and going down valleys, whilst listening to the Grateful Dead, Buffalo Springfield or Frank Zappa. With a vehicle like this, he would be really ready for any challenge. This is why we have taken him to the top of Moel in North Wales. Let's get crazy here. What is it that Bob Ross says? There's no mistakes, just happy accidents. So you don't miss out on further videos and similar nonsense, please like, feel free to comment, definitely subscribe and press that bell-shaped thingy to be woken up at all hours for further content. But for now, that's your lot.